After years of peace and stability, Althea had passed away, leaving the rule of the universe and the kingdom of Anjosco strongly in the hands of J.S. LaFleur. But it was Daniel who inherited the emblem, seeing that he too was of the LaFleur lineage, the direct descendant of the original Anjou and King of LaFleur. It was at this time that Albert Albino set out on a journey to explore the dimensions. He has stumbled upon a great secret, a secret which he cannot even tell his most closest ally, Kelly, and his forces about the expanded dimensions. New territories and dimensions with new countries and kingdoms and peoples which no one else has ever saw or met. Albert Albino thought he could secretly expand his influence and have his own little kingdom inside the kingdom of Anjosaka. So he sent his son, Alvin, Tone, and Rissy to explore these lands and befriend the people and solve their problems and expand the reach of Albino influence. But during these tales of the expanded dimensions, there was a country that was plagued by war, was on the verge of collapse. An evil king, or an old sickly man, was dying, and a pure, light warrior was approaching him, being guarded by two twin warriors, his light noble knight and his old evil king, were bound to fuse together and to form a new being. This being will be the perfect balance between good and evil, something that has not been seen since perfection. This being then, his coat in a black coat, and his hair covered. His face was covered, and he went by the name of Cyrus. Ben and the evil twins, not biological twins, a boy and a girl, decided to go and find 10 more followers throughout the expanded dimensions, where they will be powerful and force their own rule against the rule of the natural order of things. Also, many stories at this time I did. For one, I remember this travelers was traveling, find some ruins, and they was betrayed by one of their friends who was a quiet person, and then they stabbing them in the back. He was one of the 13, and a couple other people I can't remember, but yeah, it was 13 of them, which included Cyrus. And Cyrus's plan was simple. In order to have peace, you must destroy these countries and peoples and intelligent life forms, and leave only animals and plant life. And they, the 13, would guide not only the dimensions but the entire universe in a peaceful natural age. It was genocide in which the universe has not seen since its destruction by perfection, in a more sick, twisted way, thinking that it was the right thing to do. The country in which was invading the old kingdom, which the old king decided was completely destroyed. The Albino tried to save as much people as possible and fled to the Lishu, seeing a magnificent and strong opponent was approaching. Then Cyrus gave wind to Anjosaka and the powers of the LaFleurs and the emblem, the symbol of power in not only dimensions but in the universe. So Cyrus and his 13 went to Anjosaka. Alvin told his father about this, and Alvin then knew that the time of Carissa Albino and Albino Prime was now, and so they worked together to fuse themselves during this time, seeing that they might be the only hope left for the universe if Anjosaka were to fall. Daniel and all of the forces of Anjosaka faced off against these 13. They were doing well against the other 12, and Jace also took up his sword and fought. And Daniel had the emblem. I was going to face Cyrus, but Cyrus in his black coat, hovering, stopped him in mid-air and grabbed the emblem with his one hand and crushed his hand to a fist, crushing and destroying the emblem single-handedly, easily, like it was just a rock Daniel couldn't believe it. J.S. was stunned, and everyone was petrified. How? The emblem, the most powerful weapon in the universe, be destroyed so quickly by this person? And then Cyrus said, I am Cyrus, the one that will end all and bring peace in my own image. And then he cut down Daniel with a single slap to the face. And then the golden city of Anjosika was being destroyed by the other 12. And J.S. the Floor tried to escape, but Cyrus stopped him and killed him. The Anjoskan Empire and their allies all fell in a single day to the might of Cyrus and his untold match powers. Seeing now that the issue was supposed to be destroyed, and if Cyrus reached the universe, it would be the end of all things. The albino was the only one standing between Cyrus and his sick, twisted ideals of peace. And so, all of his children and family members of Albert Albino combined to form the ultimate albino, Albino Prime, to face off against Cyrus. The Primes were stronger than the Floors and the Albino, right? And the two fought, and Cyrus was impressed. So Cyrus backed off and let his 13 fight him. And so, Prime Albino, Albino Prime, throughout the dimensions, cutting down the 13 and last but not least the twins before he got to Cyrus. Cyrus was impressed, and the two fought, but Cyrus was being pushed back. Stunned by all of this, and then he decided to go to his white form. This evil Cyrus, his face was finally revealed with white flames coming from his eyes, and his face was pale white like snow. And this was his powerful form. The Albino Prime powered up to face this evil, and the two finally clashed. Sacrificing himself, the ultimate albino destroyed Cyrus. Cyrus could not believe it. His plans of total conquest and control were over, and he fell down to the ground, dead. And the ultimate albino decided to break apart back to the planet albino, and the albino lived out their lives in peace. Now the universe had no ruler. The dimensions were decimated into a jungle wasteland, and a new era was about to begin.